Hi guys, thanks for watching. I'm Shannon. If you haven't checked out one of my videos before, I live in a 97 vintage Land Yacht International Airstream. She's 27 feet long, so technically the box is 24 feet, so I live in 24 feet. Today's project is I ordered 2 years ago-ish plus a skylight replacement for my model of Airstream. Vintage Trailer Supply does some awesome stuff. The prices actually are pretty good. They're fast getting stuff in. They don't always have everything in stock because, you know, a lot of it comes directly from Airstream, and that's always kind of a sketchy thing on whether or not Airstream's got it available. Anyway, the skylight that I originally ordered was opaque, and it's the only one. It's curved edges. It fits the hole, you know, that kind of thing. And at the time I was okay with that because I didn't know any different. It was an opaque one that was already on there that was all beat up and broken and stuff like that. So I didn't really, as much as I would have liked to have had a clear one, that wasn't available. So I was like, well, I don't know any difference, right? So I went ahead and got that one. About $150 before shipping. I think they make them themselves, that kind of thing. Anyway, I didn't attach it properly, and I just kind of halfway attached it. I mean, it was good and solid for about 5,000 miles, and then one day it just was gone. Somewhere north of Wisconsin. So hopefully I didn't hit anybody's car or anything, and it didn't do any damage to mine, to the Airstream. Anyway, so that all being said, I had to patch it. So I got a piece of plexiglass cut at Lowe's. I got some Flex Seal tape, patched it all up. That was good for the next 6 weeks of my trip. It still actually is totally fine. It just doesn't look very good. And of course the plexi's thin, so it bows. It was obviously not the final solution to, what I was going to put on there. So I looked around, I found all different kinds of versions of skylights, none of which have the funky shape that our vintage windows have, or vintage skylights have, which is that shape, right? So I toyed with it. I looked into having a guy that does some plastic work. He does some cool stuff called the Plastics Guy on Instagram. Talked with him a little bit. Basically, because it was just one, it would have cost too much money to fabricate a system to make, because that was shrink formed or whatever, heat shrink formed to make that shape. So basically it was get an opaque, get one that is not made for an Airstream from some other companies that are great that do have a smoky glass clear one, and just make a box that goes around the hole. I didn't want to do that. Or just stick with something that's flat, have something custom made. I've got some people that I've worked with for some metal work here in town before. They do some other work for, I found out today, for a guy that's pretty well known for doing some polishing and stuff like that. And I've talked to him before, didn't realize it was the same guy. Anyway, so they've done some Airstream work before. They did my trim strips down the center that I put, where I put the wood in the ceiling for that centerpiece, etc. So here's what I did. I went on top and I made a template. These are my WeatherTech floor liners. I made a template for the exact opening of the hole. And fortunately, in doing that, by holding that down, it made a perfect imprint of the width, so I knew exactly the opening was this space here. It was a nice rigid template, so it would hold up really good. I'm going to hold on to this because I'm going to put a link to the sheet metal guys that did this for me in Longview, Texas. They don't have a website. It's kind of old school. But I'm going to hold on to this. They didn't want to, so that if you do have a Airstream in this model, I can take them this template if you want me to, and let them and drop it off. Or you can do a cardboard template, a paper template, and same situation, and have them do it if you like what they've done. So there's that, right? Then I went to a local glass place. Now this is tempered glass, 1/4 inch thick tempered glass. It is not DOT glass. Now the reason that is okay is, one, it's not being head on. So, I mean, a tree's going to have to fall on this thing to break it. But it's when you're doing it on your own property or your own RV, if I was to take it and have them put it in, if I was to take it to have an RV place put it in, it would have to be DOT certified glass. there's other tempered glass in there with mirrors and stuff like that. I've never had a problem. So I'm not going to worry about it. If it breaks, it'll just break into 1,000 little pieces and stay together. And I'll just go take the frame off and get another one. It cost me $56. Okay. So I went with the smoke. That way I can still see out. It's got all these little nubby things, so you're not sitting the glass directly on the ground. So those will come off, obviously. And then let me get my cardboard because I don't want to sit it down on the truck bed. And then I had my metal guys make me a frame. Okay. So this is going to be, it's 1.5 inches down from the sides. The side glass, it's going to not fit quite as tight here. They didn't get the corner at exactly the same angle as the curve on the glass, but the sides are perfect. So I'm okay with that. I'll make it work. And then they just clipped it and soldered it to get it to trim, sanded the sides down, and then they do a rolled edge on the bottom. And then because I'm just being a little anal retentive, I am going to paint this so it's all nice and even. So I've got a good metal paint I just went with Rust-Oleum. This is the metallic paint and primer in one, flat antique nickel. Right now Mildred is still not polished. I don't know that I'm going to polish her, so I'm okay with that. I think I might probably, I don't know, I got a couple options. I'll let you know if it happens. Anyway, so they've got it nice and polished up for me. Everything's nice and smooth. And then to make sure I had kind of a weep hole, this is the back end. And so what we've done is we just clipped a little notch in it, and it goes down just a little bit past the butyl tape, which I'll show you. And that's going to be where water can drain off. Okay. That'll be the back end. And really, I don't have a whole lot of standing water on there, on the plexi, and it's, except for with the little dip. I've got butyl tape. I ordered these from Vintage Trailer Supply. I got 2 different thicknesses. I got the 1/8 inch and the 1/16 inch butyl tape because I'm not sure which one I want to put on top. But this will go on the frame of the Skylight, or the opening. Then the glass will go down. I'll put another piece, whichever one I decide to go to, of the butyl tape on the inside of the frame. And then, of course, I'll stop at this notch on either side. So that gives me a little bit of a drain off area for water to run off. I always tend to tilt tilt Mildred just a little bit higher in the front, just, keep things flowing so water in the tanks don't get stagnant and settle and stuff like that. And then, but I'll have everything nice and painted. I may, because of that, I don't want water to drain in to the back side of this and get in this channel here, because they did a little rolled edge on it. So I am a huge fan of the Reflectix aluminum tape or AC tape that goes on stuff. And I'm probably just going to line just the inside of that. So it's still aluminum, but it gives it a nice seal, and this stuff sticks like crazy. So that'll kind of seal up that from the inside without adding any bulk to the frame, and not having to deal with putting polyurethane caulk on there. So next step I'm going to go through is, I can't put this on until tomorrow because of time of day. So I'm going to give this a quick spray paint, and we will be good to go to install. All right, so this is the setup I have up here. I'm going to keep an eye out. The cat has got up here, so I'm going to make sure she doesn't climb up top of that piece of glass. Because, cats always have to be on top of something. So when I put this back down the other day to take it off, I just used some weather tape, just trying to get this cleaned up. I don't know if you've been on top of your RV or Airstream recently, but there's a reason we have vent pipes, because it stinks. And that's just gray water. I need to drop some bleach tablets down in there, clean that out clearly. So this is getting wonky because I've got to, of course, stay on top of the rivets, so I can't get to that rib. All right. the rest of that Flex Seal I put on. And I did my emergency patch. I'll tell you what, if you have to get up on your roof, get a board to sit across your rivets, because trying to stay just on the rivets, on the ribs, real pain in the butt. So I'm trying to get that all good and cleaned up. So I'm just using, as you can see, I've got a bottle of that Goo Gone over there. I went with the thicker one, the spray on, just because it's just put here to the sides. And then I'm going to take the other one, the professional strength, but it's thinner, and do a quick rub down and clean it, because it's a little more, it'll dehydrate a little bit better. And if I have to, I'll get another cleaner to get the residue off, so the butyl tape sticks properly. And then ultimately that frame that I've had made, I will rivet it into the frame and seal that up real good so that it doesn't fly off again. I would use the, normally it would be held in by the, this is all going to get covered, so I'm not worried about it scratching it. That would all get held in by the mechanism that if you were doing a situation that lifted up, and since I'm not, there's still a lot of water up here because it's been raining forever. Just tired of the rain, and we've got like another week. So it's like grab time to do this stuff when you can, kind of deal. The other Goo Gone is, I've got a piece of plastic in there just for heat resistance and stuff. Give that a wipe down while I'm up here. This glass is going to be so much better, and I will probably take that out and use it to take that out to not have to keep it as insulated in like the other one is. Because the other plastic was not as sturdy. Okay, this is always fun, trying to get back and forth. So I got that cleaned up enough to not block sticking. Get strategic about how I get back over to the other set of rivets. There we go. Oh, this isn't the one I was thinking it was. Let's see. This one is probably, yeah, this one's not as thick. This is like I've got a bottle of it that's more like, in an acetone bottle. And so it's not as sticky as the one that adheres to straight up and down surfaces that's in this bottle. Get that last little bit off of there. I'm probably going to wish I had my blade up here. So I will run over and get that if I need it. Alright, so I've got the butyl tape. And since I'm going to go, I'm going all the way around. I want it to adhere right to the edge of this frame. I'd rather it overhang a little on the outside. Let's see, so this will be tricky because I want that nice and flat, but I want it to look nice and smooth from here, since it will be visible just a touch from the glass, right? It's always fun when you're not working with straight edges. But this stuff is stretchy. The paper it's on doesn't want to stretch, but the tape itself, of course, is, because it's just a putty. always amazed at how stanky that vent is. Every time I come up here, it's like, ooh. Alright, so I'm going to get this all on, and then I will show you the glass going on. There's the layer of butyl tape. Since I didn't put this on as evenly first, that so it all sits just inside there. Alright, that was the old one. The patch. And then take all these little pad thingies off. Put the glass company head on there. Once I take the other thing off, I can clean the underside of this, so I'm not worried about that. As you can see, that plastic did not love the Goo Gone stuff. It's kind of eating it into it a little bit. All right, so that's going to sit just right on top of that frame. Nice. Okay. So go around, press that in, make sure that fits nice and flat. Seal up the edges. So I'll go through, press all of this down really nice and tight without, you know, shoving myself through the floor. I don't want that to leak. I'm not going to get the frame on it tonight because it's wet, of course. So I'm going to go grab my weather tape that I originally had on there and just do a little seal just in case there's a storm I don't know about. Not that it should leak underneath this. But since you just want to be extra cautious, I'm going to use that as my weight here to get that down. Oh, I hope that's gonna work. The glass is a little bit smaller, but I think we'll be okay because it is small. The frame itself is actually a little bit bigger than that. That does have me a little concerned. So that's where we are on that so far. All right, well, I couldn't wait. So I got the butyl tape lined. I went ahead and went with the 16th inch. This is gonna take a little wiggling to get on. I want it to fit, one time. It's a little flexible at the bottom, but I did want it tight, so let's see, I need to put it straight. And I know it fits because the frame or the shape fits. I checked the probably should wait. I know that paint's dry, but it's got that little lip on it, so I have to make sure it fits over. There we go. Oop, I almost put that on backwards. Which would have sucked. There we go. That's why it was giving me grief going on. It's the wrong way. Come on. It is snug, which is perfect. So I'm gonna keep shimmying this on because it fits. They did too good of a job. So I'm going to have to wiggle it a little bit to make it go on at the same time, which is fine. I got deer in the woods over there chuffing at us. I don't know if y'all can hear them. There we go. Boom. On. I will. There we go. Boys and girls. What's in the way? That I might just, for safety reasons, come back through here and run a little bead of caulk. More than likely will, just to be extra safe. I mean, even if it does leak a little or run underneath a little, which it shouldn't, it's gonna go under and out. But boys and girls, I think that is my new Skylight. I am pretty happy with that. Now that I've painted it, I painted it to match the Airstream. Probably should have matched the white roof I have on here. So I'll get my rubber mallet out tomorrow and go through and really tap this down to make sure it's good and attached as much as it can possibly be. And I'm pretty good with that. We'll be able to tell better tomorrow when the sun's out. I just couldn't stand it and I wanted to get it on there. That plexiglass was driving me nuts. And there we go. New Skylight.